My love for all things post-apocalyptic started way back in 1988 with Wasteland on the Commodore 64. The game quickly became one of my all-time favorites, and it still means the world to me even today. I even like Fountain of Dreams, the spiritual sequel, but oh, it's a tough love. Years later, Wasteland got a true successor in the form of Fallout in 1997. While I love Wasteland more, Fallout is also special. The mix of tongue-in-cheek humor and old-world aesthetics made for an immersive experience that really was unlike anything else from the time. Over the years, I played all the games in the series, and even lamented over the loss of Van Buren. Fallout 76 is still garbage, though. I watched the Nuka Break YouTube channel, which did a really great job of capturing the essence of Fallout in what felt like more than just a web series made by fans. So what I'm trying to say is, I'm a pretty big Fallout fan. However, I was worried. Amazon was doing the Fallout series, and they haven't had the best track record of late. Rings of Power was, I believe, the most expensive series in history, and it was not good. If they could take $1 billion and botch Lord of the Rings this hard, what are they going to do with Fallout? So I went into this with tempered expectations. I was hoping for the best, but expecting not the worst, but mediocrity. I'm also not a fan of binge-watching something, so I went in knowing I would only watch the pilot for tonight. How was it? Surprisingly good. Not perfect, I'll get into that later, but overall, my first impressions of the show, based on just the pilot, are positive. This is going to have some mild spoilers, nothing beyond what you could figure out from the trailer. The series is, of course, based on the video game series, with a heavy lean into the Bethesda iterations, which shouldn't come as a big surprise. I will say the opening of the show was done very well. It's right before the nukes hit, and the way it was presented did a terrific job of setting the vibe of the series. The rest of the pilot is broken into 3 parts, where we're introduced to the 3 main characters, Lucy, Maximus, and the Ghoul. Lucy feels like a main character from the game, where something happens that causes her to have to leave the vault and go into the outside world. Maximus is in the Brotherhood of Steel, and the Ghoul is a resurrected gunslinger. When they introduced Lucy, they were showing off all her different abilities, which was a cute tie-in to the special attributes. They showed her being pretty badass, and I was worried that they might be going overboard. Thankfully, later on we see that she is resilient, but not invulnerable. She can fight, but doesn't get out unscathed. It's hard to say without spoiling anything, so I won't. I know a lot of you were expecting I hate to use the term Mary Sue, but at least for the pilot, she doesn't seem to be that at all. In fact, she's fairly likable. The show switches to the Brotherhood of Steel and then ends with the Ghoul, who I hope gets some sort of name. The show also has all sorts of little nods to the games and plenty of Easter eggs. The main cast is good. Ella Purnell was way better than I was expecting. The trailer really didn't present anything in the best light, which is one of the major reasons I went in so skeptical. Her character, so far, feels relatable. Beyond that, she has some of the biggest eyes I've ever seen on a human. I mean this sincerely as a compliment. I've never seen her before, but she looks like a stand-in for Alita. Maximus was played by Aaron Motten, and he was okay. I have a feeling his character is going to grow on me. Walton Goggins is great in just about anything, and this is no exception. He played the Ghoul. It was also nice to see Kyle MacLachlan again, playing Lucy's father. The pilot was 75 minutes, and it flowed by really well. If I had more time tonight, I definitely would have been good to watch episode 2. However, there are only 8 episodes, so I'm going to ration them out. The visual effects were mostly good. The vault looked terrific and seemed to be where they put a large portion of their money. The CG blood, on the other hand, was not the best. There were some practicals in there, but a good bit of the gore was really over the top to the point of looking fake. I wasn't crazy about the power suits. Up close they looked good, but at a distance they moved weird. Looked like a bunch of Buzz Lightyears. Oh, and I wasn't crazy with the Brotherhood of Steel being presented like a bunch of frat bros, complete with one of them furiously whacking off in the cabin. The Ghoul's makeup looks good in the shadows, but tends to look rubbery in the light. I know they need to remove his nose, but it does come across a little hokey. None of these are deal breakers, just minor nitpicks. Nothing that detracted from my enjoyment of the show. Really, the writing was what kept me invested. That surprised me the most. I'm happy that I actually care about what's going on. I just hope they can keep that up for 8 episodes and it doesn't turn into, well, post-apocalyptic Rings of Power. Overall, the pilot did a great job of selling me on the series, and I'm looking forward to seeing the rest. This is a big deal for me because lately I've been avoiding newer TV shows because they have almost always been disappointing. Kinda shows how much I love the Fallout franchise that I wanted to give this an honest shot, especially after seeing IGN give it such high praises. That had me worried more than anything. In general, I usually feel the opposite of whatever ratings they give something. I mean, they're the people who gave God Hand a 3. However, I feel the series is off to a very promising start. If you're a fan of the games and are curious, I think you can at the very least give this a shot.